inside Justin Tuck. Then he's got to get outside, get the ball into his hands to throw down the field.
That's Randall L's first pass attempt against the Giants that did not go for a touchdown. He had been 2 for 2 with 2 touchdown passes in his career against the Giants. Now it's Campbell. Campbell was about to get hit. He fires downfield, and it is intercepted by Aaron Ross. Ross had position on Randall L. His 3rd interception of the season.
You know, he had him. He had him early. This ball looked like it hung up there, and it gave the. It was obviously underthrown a little bit, but in my opinion, that ball needed to come out a little bit sooner.
Bruce, I got to agree with you. From down here, it looked like the ball floated in the air a little too long. Gave those safeties back there a lot of time to go and get underneath it. As you can see right here.
Aaron Ross, 2 weeks ago, the NFC Defensive Player of the Week. Last Sunday, 3 pass interference penalties. Comes up with a big interception right here, giving the Giants the football back. And it's Dominic Hickson making his 5th reception. Picks up his 5th first down, giving the Giants some breathing room. 18 yards, Manning to Hickson.
You can't do that. But your defense is coming out. You're inside the 5. It's not so much the turnover, but what you do after the turnover, and to allow the Giants to get a play like that coming off their end zone. You can't let that happen. And it's just as good as an effective deep punt. You're down inside the 5-yard line. You let them take an 18-yard play right out of the gate.
Brandon Jacobs.
Though Kenny doesn't skip a beat. It doesn't matter who the receivers are. Hickson fills right in, and this offense just keeps moving down the field as we see today.
Inside handoff, Jacobs. And Brandon Jacobs gained 6 out to the 27. Now, Darryl, you're a member of champ
in doing that, but it becomes something that's on a regular basis. Eventually, it just becomes mentally taxing. I mean, you don't like going in to the facility for work because you're not talking about the previous game. You're not talking about your upcoming opponent. You're talking about all the knucklehead maneuvers that are going on within your locker room.
Taylor the sack, a flag on the play.
Offside, number 95 on the defense. This 5-yard penalty will result in a first down.
Chris Wilson, the guilty Redskin. Washington penalty. Giants have committed just 1. First and 10, 31-yard line. Play action, and then Manning taken down. Andre Carter was questioned
field on that play.
Loss of 3 yards on the play. Second down and 13. Derek Ward on the inside handoff, and Ward scoots his way up to the 40-yard line, a gain of 11.
Down situation.
Derek Ward has done a terrific job today. Jacobs back in, 3rd down and 2. This is Jacobs, and Brandon Jacobs picks up a first down out to the 46-yard line. Gain of 6. Giants move the chains.
That's tough. I mean, Chris Horton does a good job finding his way through all
Catching the blocks, and that's why there's holes for the New York Giants offensive line. That's why the holes are there, and the run game is so effective for them right now.
Goose Manning's pass is caught by Amani Toomer, and that will put Manning over 300 yards for the first time in 22 games. Last October 15th against Atlanta, the last time Manning threw for 300.
And here's something that's unusual. Washington usually very good at ball control, but they're getting the Giants. Can't say enough about the personality of Eli Manning. No ego whatsoever. And when he has an opportunity where a game where they're trying to stop the run, he's going to make you pay.
There's Jacobs, and we referenced that Minnesota game. We were there a year ago this week. Eli threw 4 interceptions. 3 were returned for touchdowns by the Vikings. Since that game, the Giants, including the postseason run, have gone 17-3. Incredible. Giants must run one more play. They started this drive back on their own 3-yard line. Now in Redskins territory. 3rd down and 1. Jacobs stops short. Wow. On the initial hit.
He's getting a bad spot.
May have picked it up on the second effort. We'll see.
If they don't adjust as they're moving into that pile, he got a bad spot because I thought he got a big surge right at the end that put him up beyond the 45-yard line. Or inside going this way.
Third quarter has come to an end with the Giants leading the Redskins 20-7. Fox NFL Sunday will return after these messages.
We talk all day about stopping Brandon Jacobs, and he went and took on Sean O'Hara and Brandon Jacobs and made the play.
Eagles punt into the end zone. Nice try by Kevin Dockery, but Dockery could not keep it out. So the Redskins, as we start this 4th quarter, will start from their own 20-yard line.
It's no surprise.
1st and 10 Redskins from their own 20. Clinton Portis. Portis out to the 24-yard line. The NFL on Fox returns next Sunday. It will be the Giants and the Eagles from the Meadowlands, plus other regional action. The Ford Drive 1 Fox NFL Sunday pregame show gets underway at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific, as the Giants continue this stretch of 3 consecutive games against division rivals.
It's a great schedule by the NFL. I mean, you've got heavy matchups in the NFC East late November through the month of December.
Dallas at Pittsburgh, the late game on Fox next Sunday. Campbell on 2nd and 7. Throwing it into traffic.
Looked like the Giants knew the play better than the Washington Redskins on that play, Moose.
I agree. And he's caught between a rock and a hard place because they cover it out to the screen side. He gets a bad snap. He wants to hold it, but watch over his shoulder. There's pressure coming from the backside. I agree with you, Tony. It looked like Pierce, and we mentioned him at the top. How was the incident on Friday night going to impact him? Was he going to be distracted? Because he's such a key guy in coordinating that defense on the field. I guarantee you, he had some of that.
Kenny Phillips with the pressure on Campbell, and the pass intended for Chris Cooley.
That's a tough decision, Moose.
Yeah.
They've been holding the ball for so long. The Giants, we showed it earlier, the time of possession. Chris Cooley is so close on this play.
They had to come back to make the catch inside the 30-yard line.
Jim Zorn has been aggressive throughout the season with some of his calls, and he said, because of point situations, he'd go for it on 4th down, but you can't inside your own 30 at this stage of the game. Goose, you playing a didgeridoo down there?
I don't know what that is. It's a ghost on the
4th quarter, Giants leading the Redskins 20-7. Giants have never started a season 11-1.
Got to be looking inside. It's inexcusable to have that penalty on a punt. Just look inside. Watch the ball. When the ball goes, you go.
Rockemeyer punting from the 15 to Hickson. Fair catch. Just inside the 30. Nice job by Justin Tuck and the Giants defense. Giants leading the Redskins by 13. Will start from their own 30.
Justin Tuck is thick, Goose. I mean, he looks like a tall, lean guy on the field. You get up next to him, he is thick.
His neck looks like somebody's thigh.
Derek Ward takes the toss from Manning on 1st down and fights his way back to the line of scrimmage.
That's another up and down team. We talked about Philadelphia. Green Bay the same way. We've seen them a couple times, and they look impressive, but just lacking a little bit of consistency from week to week.
2nd down and 11. Manning spins out of traffic. Down the sideline, out of bounds at the 37-yard line.
I don't think he's ever gotten the credit for the David Tyree catch, the job he did just to get away and throw that ball, to provide David Tyree the opportunity to even make that catch. And there it is again, little Houdini-ish there. I mean, obviously Eli Manning, not the most fleet of foot, but there's that pocket presence that you'll hear people talk about, and just a little bit of an ad-lib to get outside the pocket and make something positive.
Giants must get to the 40. 3rd down and 4. Timeout called.
Maybe not in time.
Play clock was winding down. Eli attempted to call timeout.
Signal delay a game. Offense, 5-yard penalty. Remains 3rd down.
So 3rd and 4 will become 3rd down and 9. You see the play clock hit 0 before Eli signaled.
It's a nice shot by our cameraman. So our guy roaming the sidelines, taking those beautiful shots for everybody at home.
Hanging in there despite the rain that has been falling all day long. 3rd down and 9 following the penalty. 3 wide receivers plus the tight end Boss. Giants must get to the 40. Manning's pass sails by the intended receiver, Steve Smith.
At the line of scrimmage, forcing the receivers coming off the ball.
So the Giants go 3 and out for the first time today. Eagles angling the punt towards the sideline, taken by Randall L. The 3rd down incompletion. Redskins take over. Next Sunday, college football's greatest teams find out who they will play in college football's greatest games. It's a live primetime special. You can only see it on Fox. The All-State BCS selection show next Sunday at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific.
The big thing is who won the Big 12 South. You got to find out from the BCS computer. Oklahoma, Texas, or Texas Tech.
They need to come up with a better system. Almost.
I don't think you play that hard for that long and you're going to let a computer decide who represents the Big 12 South.
Well, the computer will spit it out. Campbell wrapped up. And again, Campbell could not find anyone downfield. Ronaldo win. 2nd and 9. Campbell taken down from behind. This time it's Justin Tuck.
Just 4 guys, Goose, both plays. I mean, it's such a luxury that this Giant defense has.
And they collapse that pocket. I mean, they show like a false lane where you can go and take, but they just close it up. They reach in, they make the play.
Campbell on 3rd and 9 gets rid of it. And Randall L makes the catch, but he was ruled down at the 39, a yard shy of the marker. Kevin Dockery on the coverage.
He's got to go.
Yeah, I think it's a completely different scenario right now than it was. I mean, he had the same decision from the 29-yard line on the last series, and he hasn't hesitated. Jim Zorn has not hesitated. He's been pretty good with these decisions throughout the year. He's had some critical 4th down calls late in games where they've been ahead and been able to run the clock out.
The receivers need to look in and make sure they're not off sides like they were last time, though.
On 4th and 1, Portis is tackled by Justin Tuck and is unable to pick up the 1st down.
Right now, Pete Kendall and Chris Samuels are walking off the field talking to each other, trying to figure out what happened. That's where the penetration came. They were running right at Chris Samuels and Pete Kendall. Matthias Kiwanuka beats somebody inside.
Justin Tuck with a sack earlier in the series and then a big tackle, taking down Portis on 4th and 1. Giants for the 2nd time start a drive in Redskins territory from the Washington 39. Brandon Jacobs gaining 2.
Well, Matthias Kiwanuka forced him inside, but watch John Jansen. You know, you kind of get caught sometimes in the situation, well, which guy do I block? Well, pick one. Pick one? Am I going to go inside and get the safety who's filling, or am I going to stay on the down guy and cut him off?
Yeah, Jim Zorn saw what we just saw on the screen. He's not happy at all. But the film guys that for the Giants underneath that little booth getting the replays. He's a little happy under there.
Two tight ends, second down and 8. Jacobs. And Brandon Jacobs picks up a first down. Down to the Redskins 29. Of course, the events of Friday night, Saturday morning. Plaxico Burress, 2nd and 1, as Ward is met by Ryan Biscotti in the backfield.
Well, the first two incidents are just part of the game. Guys retiring, injuries are a part of the game of football. But what happened Friday night, and for Plaxico to be suspended for games and not start for games, those are things within your control. Those are self-inflicted. And those are the things that can disrupt the team and what they're trying to do and distract them from their focus. So, and you heard Plaxico saying, I'm my own worst enemy at times. He's aware of it. Now, Am Oliver sat down with him, and he wholeheartedly admits it.
That interview took place earlier this season. Now Manning for Hickson, a diving attempt. Carlos Rogers on the coverage of the Giants will send out the field goal unit. Let me ask you this, guys. The legal system may turn this into a moot point, but the Giants won a Super Bowl, as you mentioned, Darryl, without Tiki Barber, without Jeremy Shockey. They're 10-1 this season without Barber, Shockey, Strahan, and Umanura. At some point, wouldn't you think Burress would realize that the Giants could win without him as well?
Yeah, that light bulb better go on. It better go on real quick. This Giant team, and again, it goes back to Tom Coughlin and his coaching staff.
Carney from 39. John Carney is 3 for 3. So the Giants' lead is now 16. 6.5 remaining. At the 40. And here's the latest from the Associated Press as Portis is in pain on the sidelines. Plaxico Burress' lawyer said today he was advised that Burress will be charged with criminal possession of a weapon after accidentally shooting himself in the right thigh. Campbell on the run, and Campbell takes it down to the 38 before he was tackled by Webster. Lawyer Benjamin Grafman wrote in an email to the Associated Press that Burress will turn himself in Monday morning in New York City and, quote, will enter a plea of not guilty later the same day. I do not expect that Mr. Burress will make a statement, Grafman wrote. So that is the latest on the Burress situation reported today by the Associated Press. Here's Campbell on 1st and 10. Down he goes. Ronaldo Wynn taking down Campbell back at the 41-yard line, a loss of 3. It's the 3rd sack for the Giants today.
Jason Campbell has got a couple of these shotgun snaps get on him kind of unexpectedly, and you wonder if they're kind of out of sync with their snap count right now. Ronaldo Wynn is on the snap count because he got a great jump on that one.
2nd down and 13. Campbell firing downfield, and it's nearly intercepted by James Butler. Pass intended for Chris Cooley.
He tried to really squeeze that one in there, and more danger than success on that one with 3 defenders covering Cooley. I mean, you see 3 defenders right there. You can't go and throw this ball. This is not a good ball. I know you want to get it to Chris Cooley. He's a playmaker, but you have to go and try and spread it around. If 3 guys are covering Chris Cooley, there's a lot of guys out there that are man covered one-on-one. You have to get the ball to them.
Campbell complete at the 34-yard line to Moss, but he is well shy, 6 yards shy of a first down, and the Redskins will keep their offense on the field. 4th down and 6.
Was to stop this running game down, especially Clinton Portis, but they've also done a good job on Santana Moss. Never allowed him to be a factor in this game.
Randall, the intended receiver.
Wow,
no flags. Michael Johnson on the coverage.
I caught it late. I'll be interested to see what happened. It looked like there was quite a bit of contact there.
So for the 2nd straight series, the Redskins on 4th down cannot convert. And the Giants offense with 3:25 remaining back out on the field.
We'll see Michael Johnson here, see if we can keep him in frame for you.
Wow,
kind of hard. Well, you don't know. I mean, he's got a right to that spot. And he's...
I don't know. He can't sell that one very well. That's he doesn't even have his head around. He's not even looking at the ball. He's just, he's acting like a linebacker, just trying to stop somebody from making that crossing route.
He didn't miss a beat though, Goose. It was like he didn't even look like, hey, I didn't do anything wrong.
He sold it very well.
I'm going off the field.
That's part of the game, selling it,
Derek Ward. Let me ask you guys this as we continue to talk about the Plaxico games. Is it possible for a guy like Pierce, who was with Burris Friday night and spoke with the authorities yesterday, is it possible to just block that all out and go out and play a football game?
Oh, sometimes the locker room, the football field, that's your escape. When you have situations that are off field, that are self-inflicted, that should be within the control of your teammates, one of the safe havens you go to is the locker room, is the game on Sunday. So absolutely, you can keep your focus. And the big thing that we keep, we've talked about this a lot today. The number one thing is Plaxico Burress is okay. And we are reminded of what can happen in those situations with the Sean Taylor situation here in Washington, with him being enshrined to the Ring of Fame. I mean, we're just fortunate that nothing seriously happened to Plaxico from this. And this is one of the things that starts to get him to realize how fragile and how precious not only your career in the NFL, but life is.
There's a penalty marker in the defensive secondary as Derek Ward takes it all the way down inside the 15 to the 12-yard line as Ward runs for 51.
Holding, offense, the tight end. 10-yard penalty, repeat, second down.
Well, this one's going to come back, but Derek Ward is part of this very dynamic running game with Brandon Jacobs, who comes in and kind of pounds the ball, softens him up. Derek Ward, the ability to run physically. He's a big guy too, but great hands out of the backfield. And then he's not active today, but Ahmad Bradshaw. Then you slip him in the fourth quarter with fresh legs, and look out.
Giants over 400 yards of total offense for the game, and the
NFL or even in college, if you need to go out and have a good time, I have no problem with that. But if you go to a place that you feel that you need to carry a gun, the best thing is stay home. There's no reason for you or anybody to go into a place where you need to carry a gun to feel like you need to protect yourself. The places where you go out and all of a sudden some guy came and had a wand on me and started wanding me, and I says, well, are you need to wand everybody? Yeah, I says, well, I need to go home right then and there. And you just got to make good decisions. I mean, it's nice going out and having fun with your friends and everything like that, but it's not nice going and putting you and your family and your team in a situation like Plaxico Burress put his team in today.
ball comes to a halt at the 30-yard line with 2:43 remaining, 39 yards on the punt and roll.
Game second to last week of the season. Who knows what's going to be at stake there? Philadelphia is still alive. Have they played themselves back into a potential wild card spot?
Campbell for Randall. Aaron Ross takes the tackle. Giants took a 13-0 lead. Redskins scored on an end-around 29-yard run by Devin Thomas midway through the second quarter. Brandon Jacobs with the only touchdown here in the second half as Corey Webster gets a piece of that pass intended for Thomas. Great job by our entire... And David Hill, thanks to Lou Triviani, Rick Camps, Matt Vanovic, Dave Corris, Ben Bowman. 3rd down and 6. As Campbell finds his man, Todd Yoder. Tie to 7. Can the Giants go 18-1? Perhaps. Giants lead by 16, 2 minutes remaining. Campbell Santana Moss, first down, Redskins. Down to the Giants.
Supposed to be a very, very difficult stretch of their schedule, and they haven't missed a beat. I mean, they have been just so impressive.
They won their first 4, lost to Cleveland. As Tuck records his second sack of the game.
He's relentless, Moose. He just never stops. It doesn't matter what the score is, how much time's on the clock. He's going after you. I mean, he is an unbelievable player. I thought last year, you know, in the Super Bowl, he was the difference maker, and you see right there, Justin Tuck not out of the game. A lot of veterans usually at this point would come out of the game, but he's in there rushing the passer, doing what he does.
Second reception for Yo. Third down and 13. First down for Campbell, out of bounds. Lost the next 2. Campbell to the outside, Liddell Betts.
They're going to have an opportunity winning record coming into that game, and then Dallas, everybody could have a winning record that they face down the stretch. I mean, it's you look at the schedule at the beginning of the year and you try and find out the areas. Well, let's see what they do through here, and we'll find out a lot about this team. The Giants have had, they're going to have that for about 10 weeks to finish the season, and up until this point, they've done a tremendous job.
Second down and 5. Campbell over the top. Yoder has become his primary top champion. The 98 Broncos started the season 12-0. Giants will go to 11-1 for the first time in club history. As Campbell throws it away. Who did the 98 Broncos suffer their first loss against? The New York Giants.
There you go. With the Meadowlands, right? Eli Manning, a late touchdown pass?
Well, it was back in 98.
All right. He wouldn't have been there, huh? Unless he beat him at Tennessee. You know, the thing I like about it is everybody in the New York area wants to start talking about this team and where do they fit in with the history of the Giants organization. And the response is, well, they haven't won their championship yet. You know, they've got a great thing going right now. But until they win a championship, you can't even really mention them with the team from last season. And that is the right frame of mind for this group to have as they're moving forward. We have not accomplished anything yet, even though we have a fantastic record, and the majority of people would consider us the best team in the NFL. We have not accomplished what we set out to do.
But they've accomplished what not too many people expected as Moss makes the catch, and that is start the season with a record of 11-1 as Moss coughed it up. Giants recover. They win the game by the score of 23-7. Redskins drop to 7-5. We'll return to Landover, Maryland after these messages.
Plus, an exclusive look at the brand new BCS standings. There is a shakeup, and we'll find out who will represent the Big 12 South in the Big 12 championship game via the standings. But first, let's get all caught up as to what has happened here today in Week 13 of the NFL.
A must-win game for the Washington Redskins. Sean Taylor being honored. Great Redskin defensive back murdered a year ago. His parents in the stand, Jason Taylor. And then, of course, the Ring of Fame. You see Clinton Portis coming out with his number. Watch the Redskin colors. Then the game gets started. Action picks up. Eli Manning, touchdown pass, a 40-yarder to Amani Toomer. Giants up 7-0 over the Washington Redskins. Devin Thompson on the end around, the reverse. You get pursuit from one side. You slow it down by reverses. That's a 29-yard touchdown run by Devin Thompson, his first of his career. Score 13-7 New York Giants. And then Brandon Jacobs, over 70 yards rushing on the day, a 1-yard touchdown run. Giants once again on the road, winning 23-7 over Washington. Carolina at Green Bay, one of the better games on the day. Steve Smith Al Harris getting to a tussle. It's cold, fellas. Save that, all that energy. Post route, Aaron Rodgers hooks up with Greg Jennings. That's a 21-yard touchdown. The 28 now, 28-21 Green Bay. D'Angelo Williams in the fourth quarter plunges in from 1 yard out. We're tied up at 28 all. And then fourth quarter, DeLone deep. Steve Smith really got things going in the second half. 54-yard catch down to the one. D'Angelo Williams takes it in for his fourth touchdown on the day. Carolina on the road wins 35-31 over the Green Bay Packers.
Carolina goes to 9-3. Big second half for Steve Smith. 105 yards receiving, all in the second half. That deserves a wow and an interview with Chris Myers.
At Lambeau Field with the snow falling down, Steve Smith, who made the big catch, which set up the winning touchdown. Let's just talk about what a wild game this was and how important it was to win here.
11-1 for the first time, really, in their franchise history. And if you take a look at this, pretty much sewed up the NFC East.
Yeah, they've pretty well got it wrapped up. The Cowboys have an outside shot. But, you know, you look at that division and the NFC South, it is so tight right now with Tampa and Carolina at 9-3. And the thing about Carolina, they've got the edge. It's going to come down to tiebreakers. And Carolina right now, 8-2 within the conference, because it's going to be a tiebreaker because even Atlanta, a game and a half out of the lead.
Well, Carolina's a team that surprised me because you don't quite know what you're going to get when the offense doesn't look like they can play as explosive as they played today.
How about last week?
Yeah, you don't know. You sit up here and you think this is not a team that's going to go to Green Bay, going to win in that weather. Steve Smith doesn't have.
None of us picked him to win.
Yeah, he doesn't have a catch in the first half, comes out, explodes in the second half. When they went down, I don't think anybody here thought they would be able to explode down and feel like they did, and they deserve that win, and that's why they're look like they're going to the playoffs.
Yeah, and they have the toughest remaining schedule in the division, and, you know, they get the big return that sets up the drive, that sets up the winning score. Steve Smith, as you mentioned, no receptions in the first half. 4 in the second half for 102 yards, and none bigger than the catch he made on the 1 yard line, which set up the final score. Huge win on the road for them. They've struggled on the road. The division has struggled on the road. Whoever wins on the road in this division, within the division, is going to win the thing.
The old dead arm that Jake Delhomme had, you know.
Hey, he came back to life.
He woke it up on the
54-yarder
road.
there. Yeah, that's
Great catch by Steve Smith.
Yeah, it is.
This decision could be decided next week. Tampa Bay at Carolina off the field, and it's Plexico Burress in that accidental shooting in which he shot himself in the leg at a nightclub in the wee hours of Saturday morning. Let's bring in NFL insider Jay Glazer. And Jay, in the pregame show, you told us that Plexico planned to turn himself in. Well, now his attorney is confirming that and taking it a step further. What's the latest?
Yeah, Benjamin Brafman, his attorney, has come out and said that Plexico and he will go down tomorrow, turn himself in. They expect him to be charged with a criminal possession of a firearm or illegal possession of a firearm. What my law enforcement sources have told me here is that basically they want to question him tomorrow. But they said any attorney worth his weight will have him come down and say, don't say a word, charge him, arraign him, and let me fight it out in court.
All right, in the pregame show, you said that Antonio Pierce took Plexico to the hospital and then told the officials exactly where the gun was. What are your sources telling you about Pierce?
You know, here's the deal. It could really go either way on Antonio. What my sources say is it really depends who gets the case. Right now, Antonio, who, by the way, wouldn't talk about this in his post-game press conference, they said, we were told that he ripped into Plexico Burress. He had no idea that Burress had the gun. He tried to stop the bleeding on the way to the hospital. And the law enforcement people that I talked to in the police department said, we don't think he was trying to hide something. However, it depends who gets the case. If they want to make a statement and make an example of Antonio Pierce because he brought the gun over state lines back to New Jersey, they can certainly do that. But again, he is cooperating fully with authorities, helping them locate the gun as well. And by the way, one more note here. Commissioner Goodell, in the past, we have seen that he doesn't need a conviction to hand out a suspension in certain cases. It happened with Corin Robinson, Pac-Man Jones. So just as far as off-field discipline from the NFL, he doesn't need to wait for this entire process to wrap itself up.
All right. Thank you very much, Jay. Of course, this story has a long way to go. You'll keep us updated throughout the week on FoxSports.com and again next week on the pregame show. But up next is an exclusive look at the brand new...
Where do we begin? This city deserves a better class of criminal. I'm gonna give it to him.
I've seen now what I have to become to stop men like him.
And here we go.
And he is in! How about the Buccaneers?
Know your limits. Batman has no limits.
We're tonight's entertainment.
Steve Smith. Oh, my God.
light is darkest just before the dawn.
It ain't no doggone tomorrow, fellas.
And I promise you, the dawn is coming. This is my city.
Ooh, you want to play? Come on.
You either die a hero, or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
It was one of the best movies of the year, The Dark Knight, worth seeing for Heath Ledger's performance alone if you have it. And if you have or haven't, it's available on DVD and Blu-ray beginning in this Tuesday, December 9th. In the NFC, NYPD Blue is still the top seed, followed by the Bucks, Vikings, and Cardinals. An Arizona victory today over the Rams clinches the NFC West. The Giants win the East and a first-round bye if they shoot down the Eagles. Right now, the wild cards are the and Falcons. The entire NFC East very much alive, led by the Dallas Cowboys. Over in the AFC, the Titans are a win away from clinching the South. Today they host the Browns and third-string quarterback Ken Dorsey, so something tells me it will get done. The other division leaders, Steelers, Jets, and Broncos. The wild cards, the Colts and Ravens. The entire AFC East gunning for a playoff spot. Now off the field, it's all about lawyers, guns, and money. On Friday, a federal judge stopped the NFL from suspending 5 players in the StarCaps case. That means Viking Pro Bowlers Kevin and Pat Williams will play today, although league suspensions are still possible at a later date. Now, a possible suspension also could be on the line for Jets defensive captain Sean Ellis. He's busted for possession of marijuana. And, of course, this week, the NFL's version of Yosemite Sam, Plexico Burress, was arrested and charged with gun possession. The Giants sent the alleged pistol-packing wide receiver packing for the rest of the year. He now faces prison time and could lose up to $27 million in salary from the Giants. As for Antonio Pierce, he's now cooperating with police, and it looks like he'll avoid the clink. Jay Glazer will have much more in just a bit. But I want to ask you guys, we know Plexico is done on the field for the year. But, Michael, the question is, how does it really affect the Giants from a football standpoint? Forget the off-field stuff.
Well, everybody remembers Plexico, and I think, you know, Super Bowl last year, he caught the winning touchdown. Well, the playoff game against Green Bay, if it weren't for Plexico, I wouldn't have a ring. The team wouldn't have a ring. The guy is a game changer. But I think the Giants realize they can win without him. They've shown that this year. They haven't had him a lot. The guys are comfortable without him. Eli threw for over 300 yards last week, and they have 3 magnificent running backs. Being able to run the ball helps out Eli. They think that they can go with Hickson. They feel like they can just distance themselves from this. Yep. That's why they suspended Plexico right now. It wasn't so, you know, just to distance themselves, more to say to the team, don't worry about that. It's over with. Now we're going to move on and play like we've been doing without him the rest of the early in the year, and we're going to continue to do that.
And I think Tom Coughlin, Coach, if you get Coach of the Year, you earn it just for the way you've managed this football team all year.
You take a look at it right now, and obviously the numbers in the Giants' favor so far, Howie. I mean, the way that Eli has played without Plexico this year, his 2 best games statistically.
Other people have stepped up. Boss has become a much more significant part of their passing game. Smith has quietly had a great year. Hickson has stepped up both on special teams and as a wide receiver. But make no mistake about it, what drives this football team, as Michael mentioned, it's not just the 3 running backs, it's Jacobs. If he's healthy, they're a very good football team. They win out.
I want to get back to the StarCap situation, Jimmy, and Minnesota is the team.
Later on in March, but something happens well before that. Right now, what's going to happen is the police are going to try and investigate, really the DA's office will try and investigate and interview as many people as they can who were there. You have people at the club, you have people at the parking garage, you have people on the Giants, and for that, they're going to try and get an indictment in front of a grand jury. Once they get that indictment, they can hold that over Plexico's head.
Bottom line, everybody wants to know, will he serve jail time?
You know, all my law enforcement sources, they say, look, celebrities get busted with guns all the time. Have you ever heard of any of them going to jail? No. However, they also didn't have the mayor of their city coming straight out saying they want the book thrown at them. They said the strategy really is going to be to take this as far away as you possibly can from the public eye into March, into April, into May, and hope that maybe, you know, there won't be so much attention on it. That's their best chance for a plea.
All right, now some other people have kind of gotten caught up in this. Right. Antonio Pierce, the linebacker, allegedly had Plexico's gun in his glove compartment. What's the latest on him?
You know, just like I said last week, he has cooperated fully. On Friday, he went down, met with the DA's office. Detectives were there as well. He has cooperated fully.
And a quick question about star caps. Will we hear something this week?
I'm sorry, Kurt?
Star caps. Will we know something by the end of the week?
You know what? Here's the deal. If you talk to the league, they think that they're going to know on, Monday or Tuesday of this week. But you talk to people related to the teams, they say, no. The judge said, look, I got 4.5 months worth of evidence dropped in my lap in 2 hours. I'm going to need as much time as it's going to take. They think it can go off all the way until January. Well, that's what's happening behind the scenes. On the field, State Farm covers the field.
State Farm covers the field. Sponsored by State Farm, where great coverage meets great rates. Call, click, or visit and start saving today.
Okay, we'll check in with Jay later in the show, who's got some interesting reaction from around the NFL about this Plexico Burress situation and how it has affected other teams. But right now, it's factual. That's all it is. Let's continue talking about Plexico. What effect has his story had around the league?
Well, coaches have taken this and used it as a huge wake-up call for their locker rooms. For example, John Fox, head coach of the Panthers, told me that he actually brought in an attorney and a police officer to go over gun laws with his players, saying, look, I know my players have guns. It's their right to have guns. I want to make sure they know all the laws for a concealed weapon for North Carolina and South Carolina. Jack Del Rio, head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars, told me he told his players, look, it's your right as an American to bear firearms to protect your home. Protect your home. Don't take it out in public. Nothing good will come from taking it out in public. And Brad Childress, head coach of the Vikings, told me this morning that he took it a step further. He said, look, I talked about the guns, but I also said, look at the effect that it had on everybody else on that team.
Now, let me ask this then. Has it been going on all along, or is this something that just came up this week because of the Plexico story?
Well, they used it really to drive home their point, but a lot of coaches, they've done some interesting things all along. For example, Mike Tomlin, head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers, he said that his head of security is a law enforcement officer. He said, look, my guys who want guns, it's legal for them to own guns, but then our guy's going to take them to go get it registered, not just register it, but put them through a safety course as well.
All right, Jay, we'll check back with you later on for the late-breaking injury news of the day. Well, Giants, as wind and controversy swirl around the Meadowlands, Eli lost one of his big weapons when Plexico literally dropped his. On the flip side, congratulations to Donovan McNabb. His wife, Roxy, gave birth to twins on Tuesday, a boy and a girl. And with inclement weather, Brandon Jacobs and Brian Westbrook will be key players today. Jacobs has 12 touchdowns this season, while Westbrook scored 4 times in Philly's last game, a Thanksgiving night win over Arizona. And guys, you talk about the irony in this game. Once again, you know they always put the players' pictures on the tickets. You know whose picture's on the tickets at the Meadowlands this week? Plexico Burress.
Oh, man. Wow.
It is very strange. And we've talked about the Giants quite a bit here. Let's take a look at Philadelphia. And they look really good, especially offensively in that game against Arizona.
Yeah, and they did some different things. I mean, they tied a lot of their runs into a look of Deshaun Jackson coming in reverses, and Westbrook, a lot of cutback runs. And Donovan did something he's been reluctant to do, which I've never really understood why he doesn't do more of. He pulled the ball down and ran the football. They ran the football as a football team. They left 6 in protection, left 7 in at times in protection. They look like a more conservative offense, but Donovan, to me, was more aggressive running the football.
Howie, when they played the Giants a month ago, they scored 31 points, so they should be able to score some points. The problem was they couldn't slow them down running the football. They played good run defense all year long except for that one game. The Giants rushed for 219 yards, Terry.
Yeah, you know what? One of the things that Andy Reid and the Eagles coaching staff did, they took a play out of the Jets playbook earlier. When Brett Favre struggled in New York, what they did is they pared down the offense, made it simpler so that Brett could then gain his confidence back. New offense for him. Same thing with McNabb. Pared the offense down last week. And believe me, when you get it simple, Howie, 3 or 4 plays, it's kind of hard to remember those sometimes.
Like your offense.
Exactly. Left side or right side, who knows? But anyway, pare it down, and then the passes are short. Your confidence comes up. You're 6 for 6. So when you go downtown and you don't make the big completion, it's okay. You're 6 for 7. They got it down, got his confidence going early in that game.
You know, you take a look right now, and you know what I feel like doing?
What do you feel like doing? Give me a hug?
Fire.
Give me a hug?
I give you a hug every day after the show.
Hey, no hug. We never saw. Oh, that must be in the. Okay.
We have separate dressing
private.
rooms. Don't worry about that. All right, it's time for wrap.
You can tell it's almost Christmas in New York City. People are ice skating, the Christmas tree at Rockefeller Center is lit up, and Plexico stocking is filled with blood. Now, I do not know a lot about football, but I do know a lot about guns. and I know a lot about nightclubs. And, of course, about having guns in nightclubs. So here's a segment I call How Not to Shoot Yourself in the Leg at a Nightclub. Huh? Pretty nice title. 1, do not carry a gun. That makes sense. 2, if you must carry a gun, use a shoulder holster, huh? 3, do not use it to impress a chick at a bar. You will look more desperate than Jay Glazer. 4, if you are more desperate than Jay Glazer, and you must use it to impress a chick at a bar, shoot at an upwards angle. See? Huh? Huh? Don't aim it at yourself, you idiot. What were you thinking, huh? Why would an NFL player shoot himself when he could just as easily have Pac-Man Jones shoot him? Huh? Think about that. And unlike Pac-Man, Plexico will not have to enter an alcohol treatment program, despite the fact he was the one doing shots. At least when I shoot in New York, I have a permit. Okay, enough. Like the Giants, I am done with Plexico, huh? And all you people jumping back on the Cowboys bandwagon. Take it easy already, huh? Their 2-game winning streak consists of beating the Niners and the Seahawks. The only person who has an easier schedule is Terry Bradshaw's hairstylist. Nip, nip, you're done. Go home, 20 bucks. Time for some picks. This week, I like the Giants to beat the Eagles. Give me the Falcons to top the Saints. Going with the Steelers over the Cowboys. In fact, the Cowboys don't even make the playoffs. You heard me. Overrated. For an upset, I'll take the... Warren Sapp did on that dancing show. Did you? Did you, huh? He proved that big guys could be light on their feet. Maybe you should give it a try, Kurt. Oh, wait, that's right. It's Dancing with the Stars. My bad. Back to you.
Speaking of shots, here with a unique perspective, his former teammate for the previous 3 seasons, Michael Strahan. Straight.
Memo to every NFL player out there. You got a big fat gift from my former teammate, Plexico Burress, last week. A first-hand, nationally reported, in-your-face warning. Learn from this. Don't think you're above the law. Don't think you're going to get special treatment. Don't think you're going to cut corners because of your fame. If anything, those corners have gotten a lot sharper. Look at Michael Vick. No way he was getting off because for all intents and purposes, he's the sports version of Martha Stewart. Plax, my friend, you are in the same boat. By making an example of you, Vic, and yes, even Martha Stewart, the authorities with each incarceration scare the heck out of at least someone who's even thinking of committing the same crime. Now, it's an effective, easier way to do it like that so they don't have to go out and search for dog fighters or to convince guys not to carry around guns. The days of covering up mistakes, screw-ups, and even crime for our celebrities and our sports heroes are over. The other cheek no longer turns. I'm not complaining about it, but I am complaining that too many guys still feel they're going to be treated above the law. Like, nobody is going to give you special treatment. Instead, they're going to make an example out of you. I can't stress this enough. The more famous you are, the bigger target you'll be. Immunity has been replaced with a huge red X across the chest. And finally, for goodness sakes, if the place you're going makes you feel like you need to bring a gun to be safe, don't go. If you really, really can't resist, fine. You hire security. You make enough, and it's certainly cheaper than bail and a lawyer.
I agree with you, but Martha Stewart, you brought Martha Stewart into
she's
this?
A celebrity. It's not just athletes, it's celebrities.
Make it an example. That's what they're doing, yep.
All right, hey, be
4 weeks ago in Philadelphia, the Giants and Eagles in an NFC East shootout. 4 lead changes, 67 combined points. In the end, an overpowering Giants running game as New York took control of the division. Antonio Pierce leads the New York Giants onto the field on a 36-degree windy afternoon in East Rutherford, New Jersey. Giants look to win their 8th consecutive game as they take on their division rivals, the Philadelphia Eagles. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the NFL on Fox.
We're number 1 now for the clinch. First round bye in the NFC East title.
game they played. Kevin Boss and Michael Matthews both did a great job on the edges. Those defensive ends for the Philadelphia Eagles have to play better this afternoon.
3 wide receivers, Hickson in the slot. Boss went to the left, Toomer to the right. Movement prior to the snap. Gene Steratore, our referee today.
Neutral zone infraction. Defense, number 75. 5-yard penalty results in a first down.
That's Jaquay Parker. He saw Brandon Jacobs gain 7 yards on the first down run for the Giants. Giants this season on first down averaging over 5 yards per carry.
That's amazing. Look at the 10-plus yard runs, 33 of them. Everybody talks about third down and how well you play. It depends on how far you have to go on third down. The Giants stay out of third and long because they are so good on first down.
This time Jacobs gains 3 on first down, tackled by the strong safety, Quentin Michael.
We talked about the wind in the open too, Darryl, and right now Eli Manning has the wind in his face, so if he's going to be affected by the wind at all or his throws, it'll be when they're going in this direction.
Giants have not attempted a pass yet. Second down and 7. 4 wide receivers, Jacobs the lone back. Eli throwing for the first time, and the catch is made by Steve Smith. Penalty markers as Smith is brought down by the face mask at the 48.
Personal foul. Defense mask. Number 27. 15-yard penalty added to the end of the run. First down.
That's Quentin Michael, the second Eagles penalty of this drive.
Yeah, there you go, Kenny. The second Eagles penalty on this drive. And right now what's going on with the Philadelphia Eagles, they're giving more opportunities to the Giants. A pre-snap penalty with the offsides, and now it's part of the game, the face mask. But this team is so confident that anything you give them, anything that's going to be a benefit, is just it's a critical mistake.
Empty backfield, the fullback Hitchcock split wide to the left. Manning's pass caught at the 32-yard line by the tight end Kevin Boss, and the tackle is made by Stuart Bradley. Get it 5.
That Eagles secondary is really playing off the line of scrimmage from down here, Darryl. You know, Eli's going to go and see that all day long, and they're going to have adjustments just to go and take those 5 and 6 and 7 yard throws right up to the outside.
Well, that's what you don't want to do, Tony. You've mentioned the wind down on that field. Don't allow the quarterback to be able to execute short passes. You're not going to have as much impact on that throw as you will down the field. Challenge them to force it down the field.
On 2nd and 5, the end around to the rookie Mario Manningham. And Manningham is tackled back at the 44-yard line. A loss of 12 yards on the play.
This is a very aggressive, athletic Philadelphia Eagles defense. Now, you would think that a reverse would be a great play, but that defense played it as well as you could. I'm sure that that they would like to have that one back. You got to have that signal. Don't give it to me. Don't give it to me. They've got 3 guys waiting for me on the other side.
A little early in the game for that big of a misdirection play. I think you got to go and see with this defense how strong they're running and running to the ball really well. And I don't think in just a couple of plays that you can go and get a feel for running that reverse. That's why it didn't work.
Manningham, 3rd-round pick out of Michigan, only his 2nd touch this season. He lost 12 yards. 3rd down and 17. Giants must get to the 27. Manning with time throws to the outside. The catch is made at the 31-yard line by Sonoris Moss. So the Giants now facing a 4th down and 4.
Now this is going to be interesting to see what Tom Coughlin does. I wouldn't be surprised to see them go for it. I mean, this kick, we watched them during pregame, and this ball was moving so much from left to right that I think a field goal opportunity from that distance is not going to have you much chance of getting 3 points.
The winds are swirling. 4th and 4. Giants must get to the 27. 3 wide receivers. Derek Ward in the backfield. Steve Smith in the slot.
Looks like they're bringing the blitz on this one.
Here they come. Manning. Broken up. Sheldon Brown getting a piece of it. Pass was intended for Dominic Hickson.
A lot of adjustment at the line of scrimmage. I'm not so sure they knew exactly what they wanted to do. Eli Manning doesn't look like he has confidence that Dominic Hickson's going to be there.
And it appears this negotiation's at an impasse because we're not.
And now the Giants start from their own 33. Brandon Jacobs cuts it back inside. Jacobs gaining 2 out to the 35-yard line. Giants perfect against the NFC East this season.
Very dominant. And look at the last 2. Rushing yards per game, 170. Average time of possession, just phenomenal what they've been able to do. And the contrast to that, again, the Philadelphia Eagles. They have not won a game within the division. And you see how they struggle with time of possession. This offense is built on explosive plays. They'll get some points, but a lot of times they're not holding on to the ball. This defense will wear down during the game.
Manning on 2nd and 8. Again looking for the tight end boss, Chris Gokong. Got a hand on it as we check in for the first time today with Kurt. 3rd down and 8. Giants with 4 receivers. Derek Ward in the backfield. Giants must get to the 43. Quick release by Manning. Hickson makes the catch, but Sheldon Brown was right there to bring down Dominic Hickson.
And when you're going to play that style, you're going to bring pressure, force that ball out quick. Your corners have to tackle.
41-yard punt, 5 on the return. Eli Manning checking out the photos with offensive coordinator Kevin Gilbride as Donovan McNabb and the Eagles go back on offense starting from their own 29.
Well, I've been there, that same position that Eli's been in many times. You go up against a Jim Johnson defense, and the Eagles will have to do it the same way because his protege, Steve Spagnuolo, is on the other side. But you come off to the sideline, you're like, hey, I need to see those pictures. I got to figure out what's going on out there. I am seeing something I did not see on film.
3 receivers set. Eagles went 3 and out on their first drive. And the pass is caught, taken up to the 36-yard line by Brian Westbrook out of the backfield. Gain of...
Little fire plug there at right guard.
Max Gene Gillis had been starting. Fractured his ankle against Arizona. Westbrook picks up a first down out to the 40. And the health status of Brian Westbrook really the key to the Philadelphia Eagles on offense. First and 10 from the 40. The end around to Deshaun Jackson. He's forced back by Corey Webster. Now heading back towards the line of scrimmage, stripped up back at the 38. So we saw the Giants lose 12 on a reverse. Deshaun Jackson losing 2 yards here.
Well, and he does a great job to just lose 2. That's a great stiff arm on Corey Webster. And now it's kind of dangerous right now because now you've got a guy who's an excellent returner out in space. But look at all the blue jerseys. Retracing, finding where the ball is, and getting over there to make a tackle. And that's one of the last things that the Philadelphia Eagles can see right now is another one of their key offensive guys, their playmakers in this explosive offense. Hopefully that's just a little pit stop, getting some new tires on those feet.
Jackson, the rookie out of Cal, 2nd-round draft pick, leads the Eagles, remains on the field, split to the right. 4 receivers set, everybody out. McNabb cutting away from Justin Tuck, pump fake. Steps out of bounds as he the 4.
He has to really anticipate the scrambling, you know, in the backfield of Donovan. He came on too close of an angle, you know, thinking he wasn't going to be able to get out, and Donovan did a great job of avoiding him.
McNabb under pressure again, got rid of it. Pass was caught at the 44 by L.J. Smith, but Antonio Pierce was right there to make the tackle. Eagles forced to punt.
And they are not keeping Donovan McNabb clean. He is not going to be able to get into a rhythm because he is scrambling like crazy. Justin Tuck on this one, looping all the way inside from his defensive end spot, coming clean. Right now, the stunts, the pre-snap looks have got this Eagles offensive line confused, and they are turning guys loose to Donovan McNabb.
Rocca's first punt just 32 yards. End over and Hickson under it for 19.